Hello, you're watching The Big Story with me, Chiao Suen. Subscribe to the Straits Times channel to stay up to date with our live news updates. Now, major construction work is officially underway on Phase 1 of the Cross Island Line, Singapore's 8th and longest underground MRT line. The line will strengthen connectivity between the eastern, western and northeastern parts of Singapore. Comprising 12 stations, Phase 1 is expected to be completed by 2030 and will serve commuters living and working in Changi and Loyang. Upon completion of the line, 8 in 10 households will live within a 10-minute walk of a train station. The CRL will also reduce commuters' travelling time significantly. A journey from Bright Hill Station in Sin Ming to Pasir Ris East, which currently takes 80 minutes, is expected to be more than halved to 30 minutes. This line will play an integral part in Singapore's move to reducing journey times during peak hours.
The Cross Island Line is key to attaining our target of having 9 in 10 peak period walk, cycle, ride journeys completed in less than 45 minutes. More than 600,000 commuters are expected to take the CRL when it opens for service in 2030, and that will increase to over 1 million in the longer term. Hence, while the CRL will operate with 6-car trains initially, provisions have been made to expand them to 8-car trains, which would be more train cars than in any other MRT line to cater to higher demand in future.
Starting today, you'll be able to easily identify firms in Singapore that pay progressive wages to lower wage workers. Just look out for these 2 logos displayed in their stores or websites. The PW Mark is an accreditation scheme that is open to employers who hire at least 1 local worker covered by sectoral or occupational progressive wages. To qualify, businesses must pay the relevant workers progressive wages and pay all other local workers at least the local qualifying salary. The PW Mark Plus is for employers who go 1 step further to adopt progressive practices in workplace safety and health, training and career development, as well as rest area provision. So, which sectors and occupations are covered under the progressive wage model? Well, workers in the cleaning, security, landscape, lift and escalator maintenance and retail sectors are currently covered, while food services and waste management will be added later this year. And from March 1st, administrators and drivers will be covered under the occupational progressive wages. Joining us now is Terence Ho, Associate Professor in Practice at the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, National University of Singapore. Thanks for joining us, Prof. So, what kind of impact do you foresee something like the progressive wage mark having in Singapore? How will it benefit the various stakeholders?
I think the PWM mark can extend the benefits of the progressive wage model of PWM to more workers beyond the 8 and 10 low wage workers already covered, and this will include firms that do not hire any foreign workers. Through the PWM, and of course covered by the mark, workers will have a career pathway for their wages to rise along with training and improvements to productivity. There will also be training subsidies for them to upgrade the skills and become more productive, which would also benefit their employers. Firms can also distinguish themselves as progressive employers by obtaining the PWM mark accreditation, which could help them to attract and retain workers, and also to signal to consumers and clients that they are socially responsible.
So you talk about some of the potential signalling that the mark can have, but do you think the mark actually matters to Singaporeans? Do you see it becoming something that consumers and prospective employees will look out for?
I think many Singaporeans already have pointed out that we need to do more to support low-wage workers. So this is an opportunity for them to help by giving custom to businesses with the PWM mark. I think raising awareness among both consumers and prospective employees of the PWM mark and its significance will help in making this something that more people, consumers, employees look out for. And also the government is supporting the PWM mark by making this a prerequisite for government tenders and quotations. This will have a significant impact as many companies have public sector clients.
So currently, companies have to comply with the progressive wage requirements across the relevant sectors and occupations. They also have to pay any other local employees the local qualifying salary. But do you think these requirements are enough? And what more can be done to really uplift our lower wage workers?
I think the progressive wage model itself, beyond just the PWM mark, is really a key initiative to raise the incomes of lower wage workers and narrow the gap with the median. Beyond the requirements of the PWM mark, firms can also obtain the PWM mark plus by adopting the tripartite standard for advancing the well-being of lower wage workers. And this is a set of progressive workplace practices that spans training and career development, workplace safety and health, and more. So we hope that firms can go above and beyond the minimum requirements under the PWM mark to distinguish themselves as industry leaders and employers of choice. It will take also a whole of society effort to support high pay and benefits for lower wage workers, and most importantly, to recognize the contributions of workers in every job and sector.
Definitely sounds like a very critical step to take. Thank you so much for your valuable insight, Prof. This has been Terence Ho, Associate Professor in Practice at the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, National University of Singapore. Microsoft is planning to cut thousands of jobs, and the expected layoffs is set to be one of the largest to hit the US technology sector. According to media reports, the computer industry giant will look to axe 5% of its workforce, which amounts to about 11,000 roles. The reports say the company's human resources and engineering divisions will likely be hardest hit. It comes as companies including Amazon and Meta have announced retrenchment exercises in response to slowing demand and a worsening global economic outlook. Microsoft itself cut some jobs in July and October last year, but has declined to comment on the latest reports. And now a call out to all Twitter fans. If you've always wanted to get your hands on a piece of the social media company, literally, there's an auction going on now for you to make that dream a reality. In what is the latest sign of upheaval at the company, 631 lots of what is being called surplus corporate office assets have gone under the hammer in a 27-hour online auction. Organized by Heritage Global Partners, items range from the neon display of the Twitter logo, at the moment attracting the highest bid of over $22,000 to more than 100 boxes of KN95 masks. Organizers have said the sale is not intended to shore up Twitter's finances, which was bought by Elon Musk last year for $44 billion. The auctioneers also say it has nothing to do with Twitter's financial position, even though the company is being sued for failing to pay rent for one of its offices. And moving on to sports, the Australian Open has produced its first major upset, with defending champion Rafael Nadal bowing out in the second round. The 36-year-old was stunned by unseeded American Mackenzie McDonald in straight sets. The 22-time Grand Slam champion appeared to suffer a hip injury in the second set that needed a medical timeout. It marks the sixth time in the Spaniard's career that either injury or illness has ended his Australian Open campaign prematurely, amplifying speculation over how much more his body will take before he decides to call it a day. And those are our top stories for today. Visit straitstimes.com for more news and our YouTube channel for more videos. Subscribe by hitting the red button below. I'm Chao Suen. Join us tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.